Hello and welcome to Books with Al-Gazali, where we've been looking at the work by Khalil Gibran, the Prophet. Today, Lukman has resurfaced.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Lukman.
Thank you for having me.
Last week, we tried to look at, to give a general overview of the work, the author, and the times in which he had lived. I think this time around we should go into the work without wasting time. I think we would read from the work and try to dissect the meaning buried in the work in the passages, because each passage is pregnant with different meanings,
Yes.
such that the meaning keeps on changing depending on when you read it,
Yes.
depending on your own moods, depending on the circumstance you are in, and so on, and this depending on your level of spiritual well-being. So I think what we can do is just to offer our own thoughts about some of the statements he said, because they are short statements, but whose elaborate meaning or are unending. So we are just bringing our own views into the discussions about the work, which is almost 100 years old. So we'll go straight into the beginning, and I think I will read from the passage and we give our explanation as we proceed. So here we go. Al-Mustafa, the chosen and the beloved, who was down unto his own day, had waited 12 years in the city of Ophalis for his ship that was to return and bear him back to the isle of his birth. So the book was opened with this. Here the name of the prophet is given as Al-Mustafa.
Al-Mustafa. Yes.
And it is said that he had lived in a particular location called Ophalis, and he had lived there for 12 years, and for all these 12 years he has always wanted to return to the place of his birth, where he didn't mention. But then again, this work has a way of misleading you into thinking that this man probably means his return to
His actual
yes,
city, literal city.
yes. So but then when you look beyond, and as the work progresses, you are also tempted to think whether he meant a return to his to God.
Yes.
The only thing here is that 12 years was actually too short to think that he had lived for 12 years, and I think he was now saying that he's ready to return to God from this world, because Ophalis is a location that is not consistent with our modern day geography. You cannot situate it to any part of the world. So and in the 12th year, on the 7th day of Lelul, the month of reaping, he climbed the hill without the city walls and looked seaward, and he beheld his ship coming with the mists. Then the gates of his heart were flung open, and his joy flew far over the sea, and he closed his eyes and prayed on the silences of his soul. But as he descended the hill, a sadness came upon him, and he thought in his heart, how shall I go in peace and without sorrow? Nay, not without a wound in the spirit shall I leave this city. Long were the days of pain I have spent within its walls, and long were the nights of aloneness. And who can depart from his pain and his aloneness without regret? Now, this is the beginning of the confusing
Yes. Yes.
things he had said, because many of the meanings are implied rather than,
Literal meaning.
yeah, and many people get confused what he really meant. For instance, long were the days of pain I've spent within its walls, and long were the nights of aloneness. And who can depart from his pain and his aloneness without regret?
Such a paradox.
So is a paradox. But what I think he meant to say is that, pain, aloneness, and so on are true realities of existence.
Yes.
And all your memories are built around them. And whatever it is, you are alone. You are just a single sample of the society. And so you are made up of pain, and that sometimes what was a pain to you is what you will live to regret, or remember, or reminisce, and so on. So, but we cannot understand the work from this part, or what this means, until we progress into the work. Too many fragments of the Spirit have I scattered in these streets, and too many are the children of my longing that walk naked among these hills, and I cannot withdraw from them without a burden and an ache. It is not a garment I cast off this day, but a skin that I tear with my own hands. Nor is it a thought I leave behind me, but a heart made sweet with hunger and with thirst. So, too many fragments of the Spirit have I scattered in the streets, and too many are the children of my longing that walk naked among these hills, and I cannot withdraw from them without a burden and an ache. So, this is also buried with so many meanings. The meaning are well deeper than I think he meant to say here is that, okay, every single thing in the society, in the place he had lived, constitutes the things that will make up his burden. That's to say that he will remember everything in their barest form in the society that he had in Offerless. And so, that's how the memory works. Once something enters the memory, it remains there.
Yes.
And whether it is as a result of pain or pleasure, tomorrow it is those things you will call your experiences.
That's what made you what you are.
Yeah. So I think, and he said that, okay, it is not garment I cast off this day. That's to
Easily part with it.
No, he meant to signify how much painful it was for him to really live
Offerless.
Yeah, so it means that he is living a part of himself. When it is garment, you shrug it off and then
it's like it's actually a time for him to necessarily
live.
Not that he intends to.
Yes. Yet I cannot tarry longer. Just to emphasize on what you have said, he cannot stay longer because it was a great calling. The sea that calls all things into her calls me, and I must embark. For to stay, though the hours born in the night, is to freeze and crystallize and be bound in a mold. Now, just to emphasize the things you have said, the sea that calls all things into her calls me, and I must embark. You see, this is why I am made to believe that he does not mean a literal return to his homeland.
Yes.
he probably meant to say that it was very clear for him that it was time
for him to leave, whether
leave.
he intends to leave.
Yeah, but leaving doesn't mean leaving one town to the other. Returning to God.
Yes.
That is what I'm...
even from the word returning, it means he came from that place,
yes,
and he's necessarily going
yes,
to go
and
back
that when
place.
he said the seas that calls everything,
yes,
it means everyone one day returns.
Yes.
And the mention of the word sea is something that's supposed to be endless.
Yes.
And so therefore it has where people return to must not be a particular geographical location. I just want us to be clear, because there are two ways of actually understanding it. It may mean a literal return to a particular place of his birth, because even his life, he had lived in New York for quite a number of years, when he is in fact raised, born and bred in Lebanon. So so I think these are the kinds of works that it is said make whatever you make of them.
Yes, I think I enjoyed the session you did last week with Abubakar.
Yes.
And I was even glad that your line of thought was similar to what I was thinking.
Yes.
The interpretation of this work.
Yes.
Like where you said he meant return to God.
Yes.
And coming to orphanage is like coming to the world. And that was actually what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. And Khalil Gibran's work here is very confusing, and I think he intentionally did it so.
Yeah, I think
even
so.
From the choosing of the title of the book to the title of the person speaking, Al-Mustafa.
Yes.
And if you know who he is, he was not a Muslim.
Yes.
He was a Christian.
Yes.
But everything was confusing.
Yes.
He like left you open to interpret it the way you like. He did not attribute it to any religion.
No, you know, ordinarily, when people want to speak about themselves, they write autobiographies.
Yes.
And autobiography is a collection of what people take biographies to mean is simply a collection of your own self-praise.
Exactly. That is just it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now he thought that these are some of his thoughts. If he should share it as from his own point of view, people will also discredit them to mean just self-glorification.
Yes.
And that was why he told the story from a third party
fictional character.
Yeah. But more, I think the Al-Mustafa he meant here is himself.
Yes.
I think. Yeah. So to stay, though the hours born in the night, is to freeze and crystallize and be bound in a mold. Is a very profound statement. When it is your time, when your time is up, you are not even at your best. When your time is up,
you just have to go.
You just have to go. Otherwise, if you insist you will stay, you will you'll only end up embarrassing yourself. It doesn't have to be even as you live. The moment your time is up, your divine service, your earthly service and mission is over. Should you even if you have the option to stay longer, you will serve no purpose.
Yes.
But that is just about death. But how many people who used to be very mighty, who wielded powerful offices, who had power all in their hands, but 10 years afterwards, you look for them and you cannot find them.
Completely out of the picture.
Yes. There are politicians who still insist that even though their time is up, they want to still remain relevant. Yeah.
And the longer they stay, the more they embarrass themselves.
Yes. So I think it's because to crystallize and be bound in a mold is he meant, I think, to become stuck, like to become an ice inside a mold. So you are stuck
You are
there.
just stuck there. You
Yeah.
are not coming out again.
Yeah. Fain, will I take with me all that is here? Gladly. Fain actually means gladly. It's an Achek what I checked it out. Will I take with me all that is here? So another way of reading is to say, gladly will I take with me all that is here. But how shall I? A voice cannot carry the tongue, and the lips that gave it wings. Alone must it seek the ether, which means the sky. And alone and without his nest shall the eagle fly across the sun. So that's also a very profound statement. It is just telling you that, okay, even if you have all the memories, you have everything, the good things, all the things you have, you don't go with them. You leave them.
You leave them.
And it is the case with death. When it is your time, all the riches, all the material accumulation, they cannot carry you.
All the pleasure and pain
All
you
the
had.
pleasure, they cannot carry you. You go by yourself. You answer the call alone.
Just as you came.
Yes, just as you came. And alone and without his nest shall the eagle fly across the sun. So the shelter given to the eagle by its nest will not be the same that will take him to the sky. He has to leave it behind.
Yes.
Otherwise, he will not reach the sky. And there is this Eastern thought that going back to God is a greater achievement, is an attainment of success than actually to stay in this world perpetually. So what he is saying that fly across the sun. So the eagle in its nest serves is just like a man who stays at home. He eats nothing. He doesn't become successful by just staying at home. So even an eagle is what it is because it can fly, and that flight is the mark of its own abilities. So your return to your base is in fact another way of saying that you have attained,
the apex of your purpose.
The apex of your own purpose. I think that's what he meant to say here. Now, when he reached the foot of the hill, he turned again towards the sea, and he saw his ship approaching the harbor, and upon her prow the mariners, the men of his own land. It's also another very powerful, because your death is certain. Your return to where you come from is certain, and the true people of your own land are the people who you will return to meet.
Yes.
And it is their calling you answer. It could be your ancestors, because mariners are already people who had lived there, and you're going back to join them. So but if you take it in the literal sense, then it is also correct.
Yes, it's up to you.
Yeah. And his soul cried out to them, and he said, "Sons of my ancient mother, you riders of the tides, how often have you sailed in my dreams, and now you come in my awakening, which is my deeper dream." Because, obviously, this, if you are not too good with Eastern thought, there is no way you will appreciate this work. Eastern thought, which has a lot of influences, which is largely influenced by the Abrahamic religions.
Yes.
have deeper meanings on this thing, because sons of my ancient mother, you riders of the tides, how often have you sailed in my dreams, and now you came in my awakening? Okay, you know, there is this debate whether this whole world we have lived in is a dream, whether the real awakening is after really our end here, because you know that you are returning to the divine, and the divine is the actual reality. So whatever that it is in this world,
it's also a mirage.
Yeah, when you go there, you will wonder whether this world is actually a dream.
Yes.
Ready am I to go, and my eagerness with sails full set awaits the wind. But then there is also another thing. I know a people in this part of the world. I have grandparents who I sometimes visit. And the irony is that each time you visit them, they said, this month, this is a good month for people to die. They are looking forward. If God will take them in this month, they are really happy. I have met people, I have grandparents, one of whom passed away not quite long. I think today is the 4th or 5th day. She must be over 90. But she has been looking forward to her death for really long, because she had thought that whatever she could offer to the world is the real awakening. And even at 90 plus, she's still very sound. She performs her worship with intent, with absolute presence, and her memories are alert. She still walks around and so on. So, but she has been awakened to the reality that this world is only little more than a daydream, and she is looking forward to. So now I'm emphasizing on that because people may find it very difficult to accept that Khalil Gibran or Al Mustafa here will be looking forward to his death so fondly. But I have met people like that personally. I believe most people have done so. Who only another breath will I breathe in this still air, only another loving look cast backward, and then I shall stand among you, a seafarer among seafarers. And you, vast sea, sleeping mother, who alone are peace and freedom to the river and the stream, only another winding wheel this stream make, only another murmur in this glade, and then I shall come to you, a boundless drop to a boundless ocean. This is also very deep, and my interpretation, especially when he says seafarer among seafarers, is to say that that's the reality of everyone.
Yes.
Yes, you are just that's your culmination. Be whatever, but that is your reality at the end of the day. And you, vast sea, sleeping mother. Yes, it is there. When sleeping mother may be technically, he meant to say that, yeah, okay, you would, the divine where you are returning to is waiting patiently, that of course everyone it will go back to her embrace, yes. The mother, and the mother is not in a hurry, it is waiting, and no matter how long you will return. And he said that, okay, what may look long may be just a breath away. So I think that's my own interpretation. And I shall come to you, a boundless drop to a boundless ocean. Quite confusing, but a boundless drop in a boundless ocean. That okay, he's nothing outside that drop, and he's going into a boundless ocean, and he's going into a place that doesn't have an end, a place that doesn't have a geography, and then boundless in the sense that a boundless drop, which means it is what he represents, meaning that he will add nothing to where he is returning.
Yes.
I think most probably this is what he meant to say.
And this, maybe if you put it in the scale of the world,
Yes.
No matter how big you think you are,
Yes.
no matter your riches or your power,
Yes.
you are just nothing.
Yeah, just not. Yeah, just
The
a
moment
drop.
you die, that's just it.
Yeah.
And even when you look at it in a bigger picture on the planet, the galaxy,
Yeah.
our world, the Earth, is
Yeah.
just one very small planet from the galaxy.
Yeah.
So we are just one unit out of that.
Yeah. So as he walked, he saw from afar men and women leaving their fields and their vineyards and hastening towards the city gates. And he heard their voices calling his name and shouting from field to field, telling one another of the coming of his ship. And he said to himself, very good. He said, everything he meant to say, or one will take it to mean that everything you see is reminding you that, of course, your ship is coming.
Yes.
Your end is coming. Every day you are dealing with what reminds you that, see, if you know how to read the world, everything you see is to remind you that, yes, one day you will leave them and return. They are just a reminder that your death is a reality you cannot run away from. So I think this is...
I love this part because when you look at it from this picture,
Yes.
as everybody is busy coming from their
Yes.
farmlands, their places of work,
Yes.
he's going to his ship.
Yes.
It's like everybody is going about their daily activities in
Yes.
the world while
Yes.
one is passing from the world to the great beyond.
Yes.
And it's like on his deathbed,
Yes.
he's giving them some kind of admonishment or
Yes.
counsel or something like
Yes. That, yes. Even what you are doing is a reminder for me that, yes, my ship will come one
that.
day.
Yes.
And he said to himself, shall the day of parting be the day of gathering? And shall it be said that my eve was in truth my down? And what shall I give unto him who has left his plough in mid-furrow, or to him who has stopped the wheel of his windpress? Shall my heart become a tree heavy? Okay, now. Shall the day of parting be the day of gathering? Should it be that I would have to be saying these things, or that my best will be, the day,
Last moment.
my last moment, a bit technical, but the day of his parting being the day of his gathering could mean that he thought that, okay, is it only today that you will get the best of me? I mean, I've
I've
with
been there
you.
for 12 years and you didn't come to ask me questions.
And this is most probably, this is supposed to be not at my eve, or are you telling me that, my eve is
Are you
actually
serious?
my down? And am I just getting awakened, And what shall I give unto him who has left his plough in mid-furrow? So plough in mid-furrow means, to say that one is, ploughing the soil and trying to plant something. So what will he tell someone who left what he's doing to come forward to seek for answers from him? Should he or he who has stopped the wheel of his wind? So the person who is running the wheel to make a cloth is what can he give him? What should he give them?
What does he even have to
To
give?
give such a people? Why shouldn't they just go ahead with
Yes.
what they are doing? Shall my heart become a tree heavy laden with fruit that I may gather and give unto them? And shall my desires flow like a fountain that I may fill their cups? Very profound. Shall my heart become a tree heavy laden with fruit that may gather and give unto them, that I may gather and give unto them? And shall my desires flow like a fountain that I may fill their cups? You know, this one thing about desire. He himself has desires. And is it his desires that he shall speak to them about? And he meant to say everyone has his own desires. Yes. But then when the time comes, the desires do not wait. So do they want to carry more of his desires in their own cups? Because even them,
they have
this,
their cups are filled with
yeah,
desire.
And then this day will also come to them. So even him with his boundless desires, he is now done with the earth. He is done. He is now returning. So what more? Does he give them more list of desires to add their own? Their own day is also coming.
Yes.
So, should his heart, because he is emphasizing how important the heart is. Because when someone speaks to you from the mind, tendency is that he might tell you what is not true. But the heart, when it is cleansed, it speaks of so many valuable things. When people speak from the heart rather than from their mind, because the mind is almost always cunning.
Yes.
Am I a harp that the hand of the mighty may touch me, or a flute that his breath may pass through me? A seeker of... Okay. A harp, I think, is a musical instrument.
Yes.
I do not
look like
yeah,
xylophone with strings.
Yeah. Am I a harp that the hand of the mighty may touch me, or a flute that his breath may pass through me? So, well, he is now reminding us that he's talking about a prophet, an ideal prophet.
Yes.
That the mighty means the divine.
Yes. Will
the divine speak to the people through him, such that he will tell them things that are wise? Because when he is simply saying that every wise thing said comes from the divine, and that should he become one through whom the divine speaks, and that is the ideal duty of a prophet. Yeah,
a prophet in the literal sense.
In the literal sense, yes. A seeker of silences am I, and what treasure have I found in silences that I may dispense with confidence? If this is my day of harvest, in what fields have I sowed the seed, and in what unremembered seasons? If this indeed be the hour in which I lift up my lantern, it is not my flame that shall burn therein. Okay, another very he said that he is a seeker of silences. Very profound, because some of the greatest people are people who have reached a point where they enjoy the company of their own company. Many people are always find company in destruction. Yes. In wilderness, in clubs and so on. But the wise people listen to themselves, speak to themselves. They're in solitude. They try to, get into themselves, because the world inside of them flows, is bigger than the world they live in.
Yes.
And so here is someone who has always sought silence over noise, over distractions. And what does such a person have? But he's actually saying that you find wisdom in silence. You find wisdom when you listen to yourself. You find wisdom right inside yourself. You find wisdom where nobody wants to go. You find wisdom where in darkness, not actually in the open like everyone. So how will someone who has tried to and people who seek wisdom are people who try to distance themselves from the adornments, the attachments of this world. And so how will such a person who in this sense, in our present days, how many people want to listen to people who are old, who have attained some level of wisdom? No, we dismiss what they say as some old
folk tales.
Yes. So he's now wondering of what good is
anything is good.
Yeah.
I want to tell them of
Yeah.
importance.
So I think, but he's simply emphasizing the power of seeking wisdom in silence. And if this indeed be the hour in which I lift my lantern, it is not my flame that shall burn therein. So another very important thing, he said that he as a person is empty. And if there is anything he should really say, it is not truly from him. It is then from the source, the very source that brought him, the very source that he represents. That is to tell you that the prophet in the literal sense.
Talking about the divine.
Yeah, the divine. That if he should speak as an agency for the divine.
Yes.
Empty and dark shall I rise my lantern, and the guardian of the night shall fill it with oil, and he shall light it also. The same thing we are saying, that the guardian, which means the divine of the night, will fill the lantern, his own lantern, which means that he represents that lantern, and that the divine message buried inside of him as a prophet, ordinarily without the guardian of the night who fills him with this, he is empty. Yeah. So even today, it is the same thing we say. When what you say is right, when what you say is good, when what you say is wise, then it is from God. But when it is not, it is from you.
From yourself and the devil.
Yeah. These things he said in words, but much in his heart remained unsaid. For he himself could not speak his deeper secret. It's very important. You even at the time you said the most, probably you said only the least, because you can only say that which you are permitted to say. In essence, you can only say as little as you are permitted to say, or as much as you are permitted to say. Because he himself could not speak his deeper secret, because there are things buried in him, his own existence. When we say the divine secret, people, this whole world is in search of the truth, and that the truth is buried in some secret. And our quest every day is when you go to the university, when you go to acquire new knowledge, when you go to work, you are making effort to understand the divine purpose in your existence in the world. And that sometimes even those who have attained a stage of understanding this secret will live their entire life not being able to communicate. Their own existence is a secret, is a truth buried in a secret. They represent the truth, because you represent that there is a truth. You represent the truth that there is divine power, but you don't know. How can a man now seek a question about whether there is existence when that man doesn't bring himself, when that man is not, the answer is himself? That people want to seek to know whether there is God, which is the ultimate truth, but they shouldn't look beyond themselves. They are the answers. So
their own existence is the proof of the existence of God.
And when he entered into the city, all the people came to meet him, and they were crying out to him as with one voice. And the elders of the city stood forth and said, "Go not yet away from us. A noontide have you been in our twilight, and your youth has given us dreams to dream. No stranger are you among us, nor a guest, but our son and our dearly beloved. Suffer not yet our eyes to hunger for your face. Okay, very good. What this is saying, I don't know what you make of it, but then what it is saying is that, okay, even the people to whom you think you are the ultimate, guide, or even people who see you as, the only hope they have, when they may never want you to leave, but then when your time is up,
You just have to leave.
so it's saying that even prophets will leave, and even prophets are leaving when their time is off. Up. So if a prophet will leave, how much more of others? They said that, okay, see, you are our light. You are our light in our darkest moments, which is always what prophets represent. People, they come at the time people are at their lowest ebb, and then they shone their light, the divine light, to guide the people. And so he's
accomplishing their mission.
Yes, he will leave. I
And
think
if the prophet leaves, it means everybody will have to leave.
yeah, if he will leave, then it means everyone will follow suit. And the priests and the priestesses said unto him, let not the waves of the sea separate us now, and the years you have spent in our midst become a memory. Very important. When prophets come and go, what you learn from them should not be a memory. What you living with them should, after they've gone, no, we have remembered social prophet, but the practices which they come with should be a part of you. Otherwise, once they go, memory is something you remember, but you are not attached to it. You only remember it. It is hosted elsewhere. You have a capacity to think about it. But when you practice something, you don't. You only practice it.
Yes, it manifested in your actions.
You have walked among us a spirit, and your shadow has been a light upon our faces. Much have we loved you, but speechless was our love, and with veils has it been veiled. Yet now it cries aloud unto you, and will not stand revealed, and will stand revealed before you. And ever has it been that love, knows not its own depth until the hour of its separation. Another very profound thing. It's just you do not know the value of what you have until you lose it. Yes. The people are saying that, see, it resonates with the story, with a prophetic tradition, when after the prophet, peace be upon him, distributed a war booty among his companions, much of which went to the people of Makkah, and then word went round among the Ansar that, see, what has happened, that these people got most of the booties, yeah, and so on. And then the message got to the prophet, and who summoned them and said, you became whatever you are because I am part of you. I'm the light, and so on and so on. And now you have me as part of you, and you're talking about war booties. Isn't my companionship, isn't the fact that I'm part of you, the people of Medina, over and above everything? So, but the point is that what Al-Mustafa here seeks to say is that, okay, sometimes you may carry the burden of love inside of you, but unless you come face to face with losing it, you are not likely to understand the depth.
Yes, you'll take it for granted.
Yeah. And others came also and entreated him, but he answered them not. He only bent his head, and those who stood near saw his tears falling upon his breast. And he and the people proceeded towards the great square before the temple. And there came out of the sanctuary a woman whose name was Almitra, and she was a seeress. And he looked upon her with exceeding tenderness, for it was she who had first sought and believed in him when he had been but a day in the city. Very profound, because there is always this story about prophethood, of someone identifying them when they were, really
Everybody rejected
when
them.
everybody rejected them, when nobody even pays attention to them. There is always one person, mostly all, who have some extraordinary ability to pay attention, who pay attention to them, and then who detect that this person is worth something. And I think that is probably true of most prophets. And despite all other people, the priests and the priestesses, asking him to speak to them, none could convince him other than Almitra. And she said, and she held him, saying, Prophet of God, in quest of the uttermost, long have you searched the distances for your ship. And now your ship has come, and you must needs go. Okay, must needs go actually is an old phrase to mean necessarily.
Archaic English.
Yeah. Deep in your longing for the land of your memories and the dwelling place of your greater desires, and our love will not bind you, nor our needs hold you. Yet this we ask, it means before. This we ask before you leave us, that you speak to us and give us of your truth, and we will give it unto our children, and they unto their children, and it shall not perish. This is to clarify the part here where the priest asked him to not leave them with just memories. They want something from him which they can pass on and on and on and on. So she asked him that, look, don't just live like that. We know your ship is here and you will live necessarily. So since you live, please leave us with something of the truth which you represent, so that we pass it on to generations yet to come. In your aloneness, you must have watched with our days, and in your wakefulness, you have listened to the weeping and the laughter of our sleep. Now, therefore, disclose to us ourselves, and tell us all that has been shown you of that which is between birth and death. I think we'll stop here. Okay. And he answered, people of Ophalis, of what can I speak, save of that which is now moving within your souls? We'll stop here, but let's just dissect this part in which he said, the woman asked, now therefore disclose to us ourselves. It tells, it is a reminder that people don't know themselves. And since Khalil Gibran is only telling this story from the third party point of view, he is telling people that people don't know themselves, and this is what we don't know.
Yes.
We don't ask ourselves the questions of what we
are and what purpose
are
we serving in this world.
Yes, so she asked him to guide them so that people should discover themselves. Tell us who we are, what we are here for, and what we represent. And he accepted to tell them about things that he thinks are in between the birth and save of that which is even now moving within your souls. Okay, what is between birth and death? So he started with love, and so when we come next, we will start with his thoughts about love. So that is that. Very powerful, very profound, very deep, and so you can only say only too little about such a work, but we'll give our best when we meet next week. Thank you very much for being part of this, and see you next week. Thank you, Lukman, too.